Hi. I'm assuming I've gone live. Just a little glitch with StreamYard, as we do. But hey, we get there. Welcome everybody, Angels in Action. And we're back. It's been the longest 2 weeks, I think, for me anyway. A very, very quiet festive season. But yeah, it just seems to have been for ages since we all were gathered here on Angels in Action. So I'm just waiting for the lovely Larkin to join us. She's catching up on some other bits and pieces outside of social media. So all being well, she'll be with us very shortly. I'm also just going to check that we're looking good on Facebook, etc. Yep, we're live there as well. Fabulous. Okay, so welcome everybody to 2024, and lots of new beginnings, I guess. Lots of new energies coming in to focus for us all. My new beginning is this lovely new home that surrounds me. Sorry, hair wash and fluffy hair now. So this lovely new house that's surrounding me, and it's slowly coming together. You know, once you move in, there's all the back boxes to sort and unpack. So hence my festive season was quite quiet, because it was more house move than actual out and about celebrating, etc. But for me, that's sort of one of the ways that I like life to be, just sitting in the peace and tranquility of new energy and new vibrations. So when you pop in and join us, say hi. Remember, if you're through Facebook, etc., I believe you have to give StreamYard permission so that we can see who's saying hi and popping in to join us. We look forward to connecting with you all. I know it's been a while and you've probably forgotten we were around, etc. But yeah, we'll start the new year off and begin with this all the wonderful new vibrations and energy. Part of my new vibrational energy was I invested in a couple of beautiful new little I call them mini decks, because they are only the major arcana cards. So, and one is a Pooh Bear Oracle, and I absolutely love Pooh Bear. I grew up on Pooh Bear as a child, read all the books and just loved him as a character. And I think my other favourite character is, of course, Tigger, full of energy and bouncing around. So it's all getting settled into life as well, I guess. Just messing around with it, just trying to find them. So this is the lovely new tarot oracle deck that I've got. So I might just pull a few cards from there at some point through this. And then the other one is Tarot in Wonderland, which is one of my other favourite books that I read when I was a child and even as an adult. And these are the lovely characters from Alice in Wonderland. How fab are they? Just love them. And it's just interesting, isn't it, how even with just black and white imagery, you can get such a lovely sense from the cards as well. And of course, my own beautiful oracle deck still sits here with me. I'm not quite sure how. Here she is. She's joining us now. She'll be popping on stage any moment, I would think. So welcome to everybody that's joined. I can see there's a few of you watching. Just pop in and say hi. Oh, comments from the side here. There we go. Hi, Deborah. Lovely. Nice to see you. Happy festive season. Hope it went well for you and you managed to connect with family. And yeah, welcome to 2024. I have to keep saying it. Hi, Robin. Thanks for popping in. Lovely to see you. I have to keep saying 2024 because I just have to remind myself that we are actually in this next year and this next phase. You know, for a lot of us, I feel we've come to the end of 2023 with a lot of life changes, perhaps within ourselves, within our family. And sorry, just need to get this. Talking of family. Yeah, so lots of changes with health and family, and just hoping that we can move into this new vibrational energy now with peace and tranquility almost. So for me, during the festive season, with everything that was going on, I spent a lot of time just focusing on breath work, focusing on my own vibrational energy, and really just looking at what I could do to help benefit myself. So I've popped Larkin onto the stage. I'm hoping she can hear us. Hi, Gail. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. Just waiting for Larkin to join us. She's here. I can see her beautiful room. So hopefully she'll just come in, pop in a moment and get ready to, and we'll start Angels in Action. For those of you that are new to seeing Angels in Action, this is our main platform is YouTube. So please pop into YouTube and find us and like and subscribe if you like. And perhaps go back and watch some of the videos from our previous sessions. They can be quite long. They can be an hour to 2 hours long, because once we get talking and we get into a conversation with our lovely members who are joining us here and leaving your lovely comments, we tend to we just get involved and we want to help. And the idea behind Angels in Action is just to talk about angels, how they work with us, how we work with them, what they can bring into our lives, but also, hi, beautiful, hi. But also, we talk about other topics. We don't just talk about angels. Larkin is very into her spirit guides. She loves all the spirit guide energy. I'm into the angels. I love all the angel energy. We both cross over, but we both have our areas, I guess, of, I don't want to use the word expertise, but that's the only one in the English language that I sense fits what we do. So we just want to bring our knowledge, our own experiences to you, so that you can find ways of connecting with the etheric realms, the angelic, spirit guides, you know, your higher self, your intuition, whatever words you want to use to describe. Then that's what our goal, our dream, our desire, our aim is with Angels in Action. We're not just going to be consistently talking about the angels. We will cover those topics at different times. You know, we have plans to bring in angel parties. So there's lots of new stuff coming in 2024 with us here in Angels in Action. And I'm just so excited that we're here. And it's 2024 and we've reconnected. And welcome, Larkin. Hello, beautiful lady.
Welcome. Yeah, I've been doing the 30 and 30 readings this week, and my computer decided to restart today. So it threw me off like by half an hour. It took it 20 minutes to start back up. So I'm running behind, but you know, that's nothing new. I'm always running at a different time than everyone else. So I'm happy to be here with everyone. Welcome, Susie. Happy 2024, and thank you all for being on. I love everything you're talking about. It brings so many things to mind, and we all have this new platform to leap off of. So this will be our first full year, Susie, for Angels in Action, because we started at the end of 2023. So this is really exciting.
Absolutely, yes. I'm just open to everything that we're going to be receiving and doing, and the changes that are coming in without even really knowing what they are. But sometimes that is, for me, perhaps the best way to be, not knowing. I think we spend so much time focusing forward on wanting to grasp the answer or to know what's going to happen. And when we do that, we tend to, I feel, put up our own obstacles to those processes taking place. So the back end of 2023 for me, through a variety of things, things that happened out of my control, but also things that I made through choices, is I chose to just be in flow and just go with, rather than go, this is what I'm setting out to do, this is what I want to achieve, there's my steps to get there, I stopped, because I found by doing that, I was becoming my own worst enemy and really preventing things from happening. When I stepped into that process of, yeah, this is what I'm dreaming of, let's see where it leads, let's see what doors open for me, that's when things began to change for me. So yeah, so this is me in 2024.
And this brings us into some element of manifesting. Although I do want to say hi to everyone, and I want to say I'm pretty sure this is the same Robin. I'm not sure, but Robin, you messaged me about things, and I just wanted to let you know I have emailed you back several times, but I don't know that you see my email. So check your email. If not, go to larkinsreadings.com and remessage me. What I find, even with my Gmail, guys, and this is true for all of you, if you don't save somebody as a contact, you might not get their email. It might go to spam. But if that is you, it just says Robin on there. I do not want you to feel like I did not get back to you. So just have that be known. What Susie was just talking to me about, or talking to us about here, was in sync with me as usual. With, first of all, black cherry, guys, I'm going to light some black cherry for us. Is that, I was thinking about last night and early this morning, it was sort of the middle of the night. I was thinking about how today we really needed to talk a lot about, everyone's thinking about 2024 now and their goals and all that, but really thinking about manifesting. And, having been a manifestation coach for over 15 years, I've really been looking over that industry and where does society really intend to maybe be well intended, but mislead and misguide in teaching people to manifest. Because true manifestation and effortless effort, which I got from my martial arts and all of my, spiritual training over the years and learning, really is the best way to manifest. And we're in a world that controls everything, forces everything. We separate ourselves from nature and we control and isolate ourselves in neighborhoods and cities. We take things that would be natural and we reprocess them and then we sell them for more. We make everything more difficult. Human beings they take everything, they recreate it, they make it difficult, and they try to make money off of it. Teaching manifesting is no different, at least the main industry. And I think about all the coaching that I had and all the training I had for manifesting. And I've been really trying to teach people over the years, simplify it and make it more natural. Because what Susie was talking about is actually natural manifesting. And if you want the support of your angels and your guides and your loved ones, that's what they're going for. They want to help you. You're an innate creator. They want to help you do that. And so when we are forcing things, and I was thinking about, Spirit was sharing with me this morning in the middle of the night, this concept of, for years, I taught people, and in a way, this is true. In an intellectual way, this is true. You have to have clarity and know what you want. Okay. On one level, that is true. But on a spiritual level, it's most important to become comfortable with not knowing. Be okay with not knowing so that your mind can't trigger you to panic whenever you don't know the answer. And that's usually why people come for a reading. They want an answer. Yeah. So, what Susie's talking about and going with the flow, this is what the angels and spirit guides want to help you to do, because here's the new philosophy that is it's not new, but it might be new to you. And you can carry this with you into the new year. Everything is in process, always. And everything is always working out for your good, whether you know it or not. When you learn to do what Susie's talking about, relax and go with the flow, you set your intention, you ask, what if, like Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, and then you allow, the art of allowing, right? That combination is magic. And one of the things that when we do readings or angels and spirit guides are sharing with us to share with you, they will guide us to encourage that because that's their natural way. And that's how to work with them. And so a lot of what you guys are going to be learning with us is going to be the opposite of what you think, thought, or were taught you're supposed to do. But it will actually make your life more abundant, more joyful, more relaxing, and a lot simpler. So, hey, everybody. See people here. But anyway, I think that that's important to note. Thank you for bringing that up, Susie. I'm going to light my incense now.
So if anybody who's here has any questions for us, please just drop them in the comments. We'd love to make this interactive so it's not just us talking to you.
I love this. So Deborah says, yes, allow the silence to open the vortex, yes, of awareness, willingly to flow organically into form. That is so perfect and beautiful, Deborah. Thank you. Yes, 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 yes. It is this allowing, because the mind always thinks it's always telling you it has to do. And in allowing, we allow all these unseen, unsensed forces to work on our behalf and to support us. And honestly, most of us don't even see when they're doing that. But if you wait and you watch instead of struggling with situations when you're wanting to change them, this is one of the things that the wise people of the world throughout history have always known is just wait and watch. You normally have to do a lot less than you think to resolve a situation. And that's where the art of non-reaction comes in. And when you really start to hear your angels and spirit guides, you'll notice that they will be whispering that to you. They will whisper and guide to you when to take an action and do something, when to stop and not, and when to wait. And those are three basic things that spirit guides on a very down-to-earth level, angels on a different frequency will constantly be trying. It's a way they try to sort of guide you along your path. So keep those three things in mind. That might help you to sort of search your awareness so that if you feel like you're receiving those messages or signs to move forward, make a decision, to pause and wait, or to not do something, those messages are coming through from spirit for you.
Yeah, and from what's coming up for me as you're talking there is one of the things that I guess I sort of struggled with at the beginning, and we're talking many years ago now, was the actual being able to connect. And it's a question I get asked a lot, how do I hear? How do I connect? What can I do? And for me, it comes back to, it's that stillness of mind, isn't it? It's that silence, as Deborah mentions, it's the quiet. And it's how do you get from what is referred to as the monkey mind to that moment and that place of stillness. And I've done a lot of practical exercises over the years, and we've talked about some of those in previous recordings. But the one thing that is becoming very paramount to me, and I've watched over the past year, a lot of people talking about it, and it really becoming evident that it is perhaps, I don't know, becoming more mainstream now, is breath work, is the breath. And I know that Larkin with her meditational practices will be very much about the breath as well. But for me, it took me a long while to really appreciate the value of breath and breath work. So now when I'm finding that, wanting that moment of stillness, I really do just focus on the breath. And even though I've talked about other tools, candle meditation, just focusing on something that a flower or an item, an ornament, something like that. I just genuinely feel now that you can perhaps sidestep all those tools and just go straight to the silence with the breath, with breath work. And that's something that I've been really embracing more now, not just in moments of meditation, but also during the daytime. It's now a practice that I actually do before I even get out of bed in the morning. And that may sound strange to some of you are listening, because we breathe naturally, that's normal. But when you focus on your breath, when you bring in that awareness to the breath in the moment, the sense of peace that comes over you, the sense of stillness that you begin to feel, is really quite profound. And I'll be the first to hold my hand up and say, if you'd said that to me perhaps even 2 or 3 months ago, I'd have maybe smiled and gone, yeah, all right then, and just carried on. Because Larkin knows what I'm like. I can go, yeah, and then just do my own thing anyway. But I have now learned that there is, I can't even express it. There are no words that I can give you as to how this awareness now of the breath is making me feel and makes me feel. And even during the daytime, if I just want that little moment of quiet and stillness, I'm just, okay, breathe and become aware of my breath and there's something called vagal breathing that you can learn. I've been on a website and done a lot of reading about it now, and I'm still reading. So I'm not going to share what I've read because it's all still something that's in process for me. But it brought a lot of understanding to me as well, because I also like the logic and the science behind things as well. So this I'll share the link, but this website has really helped me to understand. Even though as a nurse, I know the anatomy, and I worked in, I worked in cardiothoracic surgery, so I work with the heart and the lungs anyway on a clinical perspective. So I have an awareness of that understanding, but really how it incorporates into where we are as souls and spirit and energy. It just brought a whole new dimension to breath work for me. So I am really loving this breath work practice now. And as I say, I do it before I get up in the morning. And instead of rushing to get out of bed and thinking I've got this, this, and this to do, I'm like, no, I can get up and I can just be calm, and I can have a leisurely cup of tea before I start. And the day I have completed so much in the past few days with that focus, getting up and just thinking, right, these are the things that I need to get done. And they've been done with ease and grace. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit of awareness that I've had in the last few weeks. So as the practice, what do? I take a deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, and then exhale really slowly, but the exhalation is longer than the inhalation. And I do that at least 5 breaths, sometimes longer. I add my own little thing in that I place my hand on my heart and a hand on the solar plexus area, just to bring the balance of that energy through my body into. Larkin, you've popped out. Where have you popped out?
Popped out? Oh, I did.
There we go.
I am. Yay. Thank you.
Yeah. So adding that little bit of energy work as well in, for me, just helps enhance that breath work. So there's a little tip for you to use, guys, on breath work.
Yeah, and I think I'm just welcome, Amy. Thank you for joining us. I was just typing a welcome to you. So Amy's going to be in our, well, I'm doing a Meet Your Spirit Guides on the 20th of January, guys. So if you want to meet your spirit guides, I've got a couple spots left. And it's kind of neat because it's a similar structure as to what Susie and I are going to be doing when we do our angel reading parties online. We're going to be doing angel online parties. So they will be different readings than we do here. Here online, we have a lot, they're a lot quicker. They're online group readings, whereas the online group readings like an angel party are going to be more like the Meet Your Spirit Guides, where we have a limited amount of people and everyone gets you really get more attention and interaction. So I think that's going to be neat. So welcome, Amy. I want to take what Susie said and elaborate a little bit as well, because, you know, we feed into each other and what we're talking about, because this is so important. So yeah, Deborah, you can just go to my Facebook page, Larkin Psychic Medium Spiritual Interpreter. It's pinned at the top. It's Meet Your Spirit Guides, or you can go to larkinsreadings.com. I have a few spaces left. That's it. But you will get to meet at least one spirit guide during that time. So I'm psyched. So yeah, please join us. And then if you guys like that, join Susie and I when we start doing our monthly angel parties. But yeah, this is going to be amazing. If this works out, I'm going to do more Meet Your Spirit Guides events. So we have a lot of interest in it. So I think we'll probably have another one shortly. But anyway, this whole, like Susie was talking about, different people can use different tools to learn to get them into that feeling of peace, which is really ultimately what we're talking about, is to get present, right? We're talking about getting present and getting in the now. And so like all of my coaching clients are required, they don't all, but they're supposed to be reading or listening to Eckhart Tolle a little bit every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. And this is really important because Eckhart Tolle was essentially using a version of channeling. He was speaking through consciousness. So when my clients are reading or listening to Eckhart Tolle, even if they're bored, that's a good sign. If Eckhart Tolle bores them, that's okay, because it is your egoic mind that gets bored, not your consciousness. So if you're spending 5 minutes a day with Eckhart Tolle, that's 5 minutes a day that your consciousness is having interaction with other pure consciousness, with a reminder and a wisdom. I've read that book every day, nonstop, for over 25 years. And after a few years, it triggered the things I really wanted it to trigger. And I got to fully experience being present. Now, mind you, I was also a transcendental meditator and other things, but it really does help. It's what helped me to stop panicking, to handle, an emotional reaction. It completely changed my life. So one of the things Eckhart Tolle recommends is, which is why I use it with my clients, I always give them windows for escaping the mind, which is, along the lines of what Susie was talking about, essentially. Breath work is one of them. Why? It causes you to focus. What does focus do? It gives you control of where you're directing your mind. What does that do? Takes you away from the ego, wants you to stay in the past or the future. Where does focusing on breath work bring you? Into the now. For other people, Susie mentioned like this: if you're looking at a candle and you're looking at the flame and you get sucked into looking at the flame, what are you doing? You're being pulled into the present. When you're in pain, what's happening? When you're in physical pain, you're being pulled into the present. So there are not always pleasurable ways of being pulled into the now. But I want to tie this together for all of you. You're here because you want to hear from and talk to angels and learn about angels and or spirit guides and loved ones. But here's the real work, guys. When Susie and I are talking to angels and spirit guides, we have to be present. The reason you come to people like us is because we're getting in the now. And if you learn to get in the now, Eckhart Tolle doesn't market or advertise that he talks to spirit guides or angels. But if you listen to his videos on them, he supports it. You know why? Because he's present. And where did the power of now and stillness speaks and a new earth come from? Hi, Anne. Welcome. It came from being present. Okay. So when I will post it, Deborah. When you are present, guys, guess what? You're free of ego. So essentially, although it doesn't sound as glamorous, when Susie and I are here working with you guys to talk to your angels, we're essentially helping guide you either through presence to connect with those who are present, which are your spirit guides and angels and loved ones, or we're guiding you to be present. So keep that in mind. Being present, being in the now doesn't sound as exciting as getting guidance from spirit. But it's essentially the same thing, because real angels, spirit guides, your soul, hi, Chrissy,
Hi.
is in the present. The only part of you that's not in the present is your egoic mind. So I want to give you sort of an outside of the box other summary of what Susie was sharing. Hey, Amy, isn't singing or dancing also a form of meditation? Yes. And raising the vibration because it seems to make you in that place of being present. Yes, it is. So
yes, definitely.
yeah, and we'll share stories with you about that as well. But it is, and guess what? So is hand washing dishes. So is doing laundry. So is taking a silent walk in nature. So is picking berries. These are all things that human beings used to do before technology, before dishwashers, before washing machines. And it's one of the reasons we have so much stress, anxiety, and depression now. We belittle those activities now. We demean them. They're beneath us. We don't have time for them. And guess what? Those lowly activities are a natural form of meditation for the human body that helps us stay present.
Absolutely. One of the things that I love to do is just to stand at my kitchen sink and washing the dishes, looking out the window. And I've always been blessed in the houses that I've been in, that I've been able to look out onto nature, you know, trees, bushes, plants, all of that sort of thing, rather than just brick walls. So, but even a brick wall can have its moment of inspiration just by looking at it and just being aware. One of the practices when you're doing that, if you like, is to be able to focus your concentration into being present in the now. Is when you're looking at something to think about, how does it look to you? So what textures could you imagine it would feel like if you were to touch it? How are the colors looking for you? Are they vibrant? Are they dull? Do they remind you of something? You know, this is all about mindfulness and awareness of what you're doing. So, yeah. But for me, the one thing that's coming up around talking about singing and dancing as a way of raising your vibration, I'm not much of a dancer. And for me, when I tried, I can't remember what it's called now, but there was a big meditational practice that went around, based around, it was something like the seven colors of dance. I can't remember now, but it was all about dancing to different vibrational energies and what have you. And it was huge here in the UK as a meditational practice. And there was lots of groups popped up, lots of places that were doing demonstrations and all of that for it. But dancing for me wasn't a form of vibrational energy that I resonated with. So I feel as well, it's important to find the thing or the way that works for you, that resonates for you, and not just jump into all these wonderful tools that are out there. Because sometimes, as I found when I went along to one of these sessions, I felt really what's the word, disempowered almost, in that everybody else around me was doing all these wonderful dance movements. They were being very elaborate, very expressive. But for me, I felt it almost like pushed me back into my shell, because I guess I was almost feeling embarrassed as well, because this need to be completely let loose and expressive just wasn't me. I'm more your yoga type. So then, of course, I went and tried yoga, went and sat and did yoga. Completely different experience, completely different feeling and energy. So one of the things I would say when you're looking at these practices is, if you don't feel drawn to it, whilst it will be a good practice and yes, it works, it may not be the resonant energy for you. So don't just go off and do these things just because. Look at it, feel into it, decide, is this the right vibrate? Are you somebody who's into dancing? If you are, fantastic, then this probably would be your way of getting into that high vibrational energy and really becoming present. If you're a more quiet-minded soul, if you're a more yoga type person, then perhaps it's not. It's about finding what's right for you and working with that energy in that way.
Yeah, and what you guys want to do too is you want to follow, like, almost like, what?
I'm just saying hi to Alison. Somebody else has popped in.
Yeah, I saw her pop up here. I'm checking out the YouTube live that we have. The thing is that, you might feel a natural pull, right? So try different things, as Susie said. Welcome, Anne. But the inkling, you might have a real inkling to something, right? So for me, expressing myself, pulling in, communicating with source or someone or something, that part was very important. And like Susie said, the yoga resonates more with her. I love yoga, but the dance resonates more with me. So, if you're an expressive person, the music and the dance might resonate more with you. If you are if you have other strengths or talents, like I think a lot of Susie using so much of her left brain in the medical field, the yoga worked better for her. That doesn't mean if you guys are more left brained, you're not. I just think Susie has more of her left brain that she accesses. But it's a combination of what is your energy and frequency, what is your brain modality. Try things out for yourself. And as Susie mentioned, I love this. It was so beautiful that you mentioned this. After you use these different tools to get yourself to a point where you know what being present feels like, it does become innate. It does become natural. You don't need these tools anymore. But you know why? Because it's your natural state. So when you're getting into the now, when you're getting present, it is your natural state. It's your state before ego. It will be your state after ego. And one of the reasons it's so hard is because it's so easy. That's the problem. It's so easy, right, Susie?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Almost too easy. But like anything, like riding a bike, you can just feel it. Like ice skating, you can just feel it, right? So,
Larkin, I'm just going to
go ahead.
Yeah. So Amy said she sang on her karaoke for a while and then sat in silence. I haven't got it figured out yet, but I believe by doing that my abilities will open up. This for me is I'm just not quite sure what I want to say here.
Well, can I ask a question? What does she mean by abilities?
Yeah, I think that's where I was going with that as well. what abilities is it that you're looking to open up, Amy? You know, what is it you're wanting to do? We often get to that point of the question, why am I here? And then we come to a sort of decision why we're here. And then we put that down to that's what we need to be doing with our lives. So perhaps if you could just elaborate a little bit more on that, we can have a little conversation around it, because I do feel there's something here that I want to just pull the threads at and just bring out so that we can just, help you a little bit more with this.
Because if you're talking about singing to bring out intuitive abilities, that's, you know, you could be that, or the down to earth side of me could be like your singing abilities. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Oh, I think she's talking about, hi, Tabitha. I think she's talking about, whoops, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Okay, so I think she meant intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
Mediumship abilities. Okay, go ahead, Susie.
So I can feel my husband and dad's energy already, but I want to open up to communicate with spirit so I can help others that are dealing with grief. Beautiful. Okay, right. I love this. First of all, I want to say to you, and I speak from the heart with my own personal experience of this. My husband passed away to spirit to be 30 years ago this year at the age of 38. So I completely am heartfelt and empathizing with you, Amy, with regards to that. I understand that. But what I would say to you is this was exactly what I wanted to do. I felt, because I understood and I had my own grief process that I went through with the passing of my husband, that I wanted to help others deal with their grief. I then found that by doing so, I began to neglect my own self, my own grief, my own processes. So first and foremost, I don't know how recent these passings were for you, but they do feel quite recent, quite close. I want to say to you, look after yourself first, helping others. We all are here to help others, I believe, in our own way and in many different ways. But first and foremost, we have to work on our own selves, our own healing. And one of the big things that came through for me a few years down the line of wanting to help others and starting on my journey with Reiki and crystals and all sorts of other modalities was I had a meditation, and in it there was like this big banner heading came out to me that said, healer, heal thyself. And I live by that premise now. I work on my own healing processes. I do a lot of my own inner work, and I still do that even now moving forward before I help others. So I feel for you, the thread that's coming in here is that it's absolutely beautiful that you feel your husband and your dad's energy already. They are very close to you. They are supporting and guiding you, and they will be spirit guides for you. I'm a firm believer that our loved ones can come back and be spirit guides for us, as what they're doing is they're working from the world of spirit and they're helping bring guidance through to us. That makes them a spirit guide. But for you, I feel there is a process of your own healing to go through at this present moment, and to work with that before you take yourself into a place of being there to help others. Because as you're aware already, grief is a very deep and can be a very long-lasting process. You know, there is no time limit on how long you take to go through your process of grieving, and the process is then that you access to help you overcome that. So I would say to you, be gentle with yourself. Do the fun things like having karaoke, singing and sitting in silence, because yes, these will all help your energy vibration. But most importantly, find the modalities, the tools, if you like, that work for you to help you heal yourself first, before you then move on to working and help others. Because the other thing I found as well, when I started my journey through that, I began with crystals. I was gifted a crystal by an earth angel that took me down the crystal journey. I qualified as a crystal therapist. I still love my crystals. I still work with them. They're still a part of my everyday life. They're almost like, well, they are family to me. And I believed in that moment, all those years ago, that I would be a crystal therapist and that would be my way of helping others with their grief. As I moved through that journey with those years, I then moved into finding other things. So I went and learned all my Reiki levels. I then learned about meditation. I then learned about color therapy. I moved into, I was going to be a grief counselor. So I did counseling at university. I then was going to be a hypnotherapist. And all these tools came along and helped me. And every time I found one, I thought, this is it. This is the one that I'm going to use to help others. In reality, what I've done is I've built a foundational toolkit now that I can dip in and out of to help others. But that's 30 years down the line. I'm not saying it will take you 30 years to get to that point. I'm not saying that you won't help others. What I'm asking you to do really at this moment in time is to focus on you. The rest will come and fall into place as time goes by. So she's also saying, I lost my bonus son. Might be a miss. The end of 2020. Both of my parents within 4 months of each other last year, and 9 months later my husband, and a month later was my sister. Yeah, totally. I understand the hurt that you feel and the desire that to want to help others. But with all of this in these past few years happening, the important energy feeling that is coming in for you is this is about you at the moment. It's not about helping others. That will come in its own way. But as you focus on yourself and healing the layers of grief that you're going through, you will find the modalities and tools to help you with that. And then in time, you will be able to help others as well. I remember it was probably about a year, maybe less, after my husband passed away. My eldest son was obviously, he remembered his dad, was going through his own stages of grief, and we did some work together. He then went for his own personal counselling sessions with a children's counsellor. So he was only 7 at the time, and he would have been about 8 or 9 with this process. And we went to the family therapy groups, and they pulled me to one side and asked to speak to me. And I was like, yeah, okay, what we got, not knowing what was coming. And they just said to me, we are amazed by the work that you've done with your son and for yourself in this time period. And we would really love it if you could come and talk to a group of parents and children who have lost a parent, and help them. And I just said to them, thank you so much. I am so grateful and appreciative that you've acknowledged that part of what's gone on for myself and my eldest son. But in truth, even now, after a couple of years, I don't believe I'm ready yet to stand up in front of a group of people and talk about what I've done. I've still got my own work to do. And so whilst it can be a wonderful compliment, whilst it can really make you in an egoic level feel good that you've been acknowledged in that way, that you can then help somebody else, be very conscious and very aware of how you are in that moment, because even though it may be a wonderful accolade to have received, especially when children are concerned as well, you've got to be aware. And I didn't realize then all that time ago that I understand it now, that I could have stepped into my ego and gone, oh, yeah, great, fab, thank you. Yeah, I'll come and talk to all these grieving parents and these grieving children, because that's made me feel so good, because you've acknowledged that about me. But somewhere within me, whether it was angelic guidance, spirit guidance, my own knowing, to this day, I don't know, but this little voice just said, no, thank you. And I recognized that little voice and I heeded it. And that's what I said. No, thank you. And I realize now that had I gone into that, I wasn't ready, because I wasn't, again, using the English language, I wasn't spiritually aware enough to know that if I had gone into that process, the almost harm it could have caused me, because I would have absorbed all the other people's energy and grief processes that were going on. I would have taken them on board, because one of the things we want to do when we want to help others is we want to absorb and take everything for them. And that's not good for us as individuals. We should be able to be in a place where we can work with somebody to help them, but not absorb it, not become them, not take on their energy. And as I reflect back now on that time, that's what would have happened to me. I would have absorbed all of that energy. I would have taken on board everybody else's concerns, worry, grief. I would have wanted to heal them, and it would have become a detriment to my own well-being. So I feel for you. You still have some ways to go at the moment. You have a lot of grief here within the family members that you've lost. And, you know, the trauma that that causes can be very deep and underlying. And it's about peeling away those layers and just really working with them a little bit at a time before you then go and help others. And that was intuitively led.
It's true. It's very, very true. I think, Susie covered that very thoroughly. I think, I have a tendency to take these things on the lives and step outside of the box with these things because, by the way, guys, sorry, I was listening to you, but we've had several trolls and spammers on here today. So I've been reporting, blocking, and deleting down here. Let's see. So everything, again, this is really hard to say, especially when, when we feel we have lost, when those many people in our lives have passed. And we have to train ourselves, as a lot of other cultures did, such as the Native Americans, that how we define these experiences of our loved ones transitioning back is not a loss. It feels like a loss. And yes, there is trauma. And yes, there might be lifelong pain. And it is never going to be something comfortable, even if we celebrate their life and we're joyful. The pain of missing them is unbearable. There are so many life adjustments that come with it. So I'm not asking you or expecting you to not have that emotion and that missing. The grief is very important to attend to. But what I am suggesting that the angels and spirit guides can help you with, that in my coaching and the work Susie and I do is so important, is to shift the way that we perceive, define, and respond to these happenings in our lives. In other words, the pain might still be the same, but the attitude with which we carry forward is what shifts. So, for example, when we lose a human or a family member that is a pet, either one, the trauma is there, the pain is there. We feel the loss. We can't help that. But if we do it from a framework of everything is always working out for us, the awareness of We are all eternal souls before we are born, and we return to that after we pass. Think about that for just a moment. Isn't that so different than a commonplace belief that the collective ego is always reacting to, oh my God, and now they're gone forever? The collective ego is always reacting to, oh my God, and now they're gone forever.
My phone's just kicked in.
And I have to do that too. I have to turn my volume.
Oh my goodness.
And also, or for example, oh, that's okay. I do it too. I've had to turn mine down a bunch today. But think about the difference there. The difference between, losing all of those family members, Amy, that we will be talking about, that we're doing readings for, that you and I will be doing a reading for tomorrow, talking about that from terms of they're gone forever, they're lost, nothing will ever be the same. Now, all of that in this particular life may be true. But let's always remember that when we know, we really know, and you can get this through dancing, through meditation, through breath work, but not in the commercial sense, when you guys really learn the match of those things for you. Okay, because I hear people say all the time, oh, this doesn't work, this stuff doesn't work. It does work. It's not about it working. It's about, are you doing the commercialized version that's just using you to make money on something ancient that's been forever with humanity, and people that have barely done it a year with 6 weeks training or teaching and making millions on? Or are you really learning to do it? And one of the reasons Susie and I are here, and I'm going to get back to this, Amy, believe me, I'm not getting distracted. One of the reasons Susie and I are doing this together is because we want to debunk the falsities. We want to debunk the lies about this stuff. We want it to be pure for all of you. We want you guys to understand all of you can tap into this. All of you naturally have this connection. It's not the commercialized programs that you see or the people trying to make money off of you. There is something real. Breath work, meditation, getting present works for everyone. But so much of what you're being taught out there is just half-assed circus. It is circus stuff, but it's also surface stuff. It's not real. It's remade by the ego. I am so tired of hearing people talk, oh, I tried this meditation, I tried that meditation. Meditation is simple. It's getting present. It's getting in the now. It's breath work. It's staring at a candle. It's folding laundry. It's dancing. It's doing yoga. It's taking a silent walk. It's teaching your mind to be still so that your egoic mind, that 95% of your mind that is ruling your life, by the way, that you are not aware of, because you're only aware of 5% of your mind. It is that, my friends, that is what meditation is for, is to help you get free of that and in the present, because your mind is always in the future or the past. That's why you're in agony when you lose something. That's why you're tortured when you miss people. That's why you regret things. That's why you're afraid to make decisions. That's why you procrastinate for the future. That's your mind being future and past. When you are present, you are peace. So all of these things and your angels and spirit guides are constantly coaxing you a little this way, a little that way, a little this way, a little that way, to get you back to what you were before you were born. Peace, joy, love, abundance. Okay? So, Amy, your questions are amazing because they bring up and they provoke so many things. See, our mind looks at this. 4 months ago, this happened. Then 9 months ago, this happened. Then this and that happened. And that's all torture for us as human beings. And we relive it and we repeat it and we repeat it and we repeat it and we repeat it. And it becomes our mental story. So I might not be able to snap my fingers and take the pain of you missing these people and going through all of this trauma. But let's remember that nothing has meaning until we assign it. So in part of your grieving and your healing process, I believe, and I have learned through doing readings for people, from spirit, one of the things I've learned is that the way through that grief is also to change what things mean, to get away from the mainstream mentality of, oh, this was the end, and oh, I should have done that, and oh, they're going to be upset with me. That is a mountain of things to worry about that your ego is piling on top of yourself. But as you work with us and you guys get to know spirit, you get to know your spirit team, you get to understand that angels and spirit guides and loved ones are the way you are when you're present. They forgive, they love, they are more aware. All the things that you guys are thinking is ego. That's not spirit. So not only should you be getting readings and having us give you the guidance from spirit, you yourself should be in your practice of being present. You will understand how angels and spirit guides think. You'll be able to relate to what your loved ones who have now left your world, left this world, how they now see you and the world and the situations that you're so stressed about. They are not angry at you. They are not upset with you. They do not have regrets. I hate to tell you this, but they don't even miss you. You know why? Because the illusion of being separate from those loved ones is just that. It's just an illusion. Okay. So please, I want to say this before I turn this back over to Susie, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much here, but this is an important big picture for you guys to understand. There's a bigger picture here, and there's comfort in the bigger picture. There is so much healing that happens in the bigger picture. Even if you miss them desperately, to know that they're never leaving you, to know that they're trying to get through to you, to know that they know everything you see, feel, and say, every trouble that you have, they're already aware of it, is such a relief. To know that you're going to see them again, and that they're still the soul that you loved and adored without the egoic self, is so comforting. And this needs to be part of our mainstream healing. Okay. And so I want to throw that out there. Now, something Susie said, Amy, too, was, I absolutely agree with that. This is triggering and helping encourage and drive you to develop your own mediumship abilities, your own abilities to connect. And that will come out of this. And your loved ones will help you to develop that. Okay. We work with people to help them develop that as well. So thank you for being open, Amy, and sharing these things so that we can use this as an example for everyone as well who's also grieving. Hi, Anne.
Yeah, Amy's saying, I believe they're here with me. I talk to them every day. I miss their physical presence in my everyday life. I believe that is the grief I feel. Singing for me makes me feel calm and happy. So that's why I was thinking that it might be what works for me. Absolutely, Amy. And this is where, when I was saying earlier, it's about finding the process that resonates for you, and if singing is what brings you that peace, calm, and tranquility, that is amazing, because that then brings you into the vibrational space of you've raised your vibrational energy. Because when we want to connect with our loved ones, be they, and I'm hoping that Anne Swantek is here listening to all of this as well, because I feel everything we've said here is really answering her questions and what she's saying as well. But, when we raise that vibrational energy, we can then have that connection to our loved ones, be it that our husband, children, parents, or pets. It doesn't matter. That it's all a vibrational energy. When we raise it so that we can make that connection with them, then that's when we can then move into the silence and then come into that space of peace and stillness and allow them to bring that connection. And any responses that we're looking for, again, with responses, it's for me about being open to the flow. There may not always be an immediate response. You know, we might have put something out there into the universe. We've talked to them. We've had our conversations. We've done all those lovely, beautiful processes to get us into our vibrational space. And then we sit there with the silence, and it is silence. There's no words, there's no imagery, there's no feeling that they're around. And then we can, if we allow ourselves, and I've done it, I have done it, we plummet into that little well of, oh, they're not here, they're not responding, they've not heard me, I've no answers. And then we start to feel the pain and the anxiety around that. It's not because they haven't answered, it's because in that moment we're in a linear space, expecting that response to come immediately. They're in an energetic vibrational space that has no linear time, and what they may be sending out to us is going to arrive when we need it the most.
Yes.
And it could be that it's the next day. It could be that night when you go to bed and you sleep, and then you wake up with a thought in your head. And that can be a song. You know, it can be, I often get music, wake up with songs in my head, and I'm like, oh, why am I singing that? You know, and I'll think, oh, yeah, it reminds me of so-and-so. Or I go and look up the lyrics, and there's a message in the lyrics. So it's being open to what they can bring for you, but also having the awareness that you may not get it in that absolute moment of silence, because as well, it might just be that what you need in that moment is that silence, is that lack of connecting of, because when you get that when you get that connection, then your mind goes, oh, they've spoken to me. I've had a response, be it a word or a vision or an image or a feeling. And then you come out of that moment. You come out of being present. You go into a dialogue with them. It's like, all right, you've answered. Right, what can I ask you now? And off you go. So you've removed yourself from that energy of being still and present back into egoic mind. And it can happen in it's like a wave like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you know. So it is just being open and not having an expectation of an answer in that moment.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, I think that's so beautifully said. And I don't think I could say it any better. I want to comment on something that Anne has said, and also something that Robin has said. Robin, by the way, I'm not sure if you were here before, and I'm not sure if, again, I'm not sure if it's you, but I'm going to repeat this. I have replied to your email if that was you. So I just want you to not feel forgotten. I'm not sure if that was you, Robin, who is emailed me, did not give me a last name, so I don't know, but I did not forget about you. But you guys said two significant things that really connect with what Susie's saying. And I want to reiterate, go back and listen to this video on what she just said, because essentially what she's saying is that our human egoic mind, let's remember what Eckhart Tolle says. Ego is synonymous with thought, which is synonymous with mind. 95% of your mind you are unaware of. That is the part that creates your life. This is why you guys wonder, why do I set my New Year's resolutions to this and then they don't happen? Why 30 years ago did I want this in my life and now it's this way? Because your subconscious mind, your ego, is not always on board with what your conscious mind, the 5% that's listening to me right now, that's saying, oh, she's crazy, or oh, I really like her blue sweater. Okay. That part is the part you're aware of. But the rest of your mind, my friends, you're not even aware of. So when, just like what Susie said, is one of the most important things I think we've ever said on this podcast. You have to let go of the expectations, because remember why you come to us. Remember why you come to a reader. You want to know what's going on beyond what you're sensing, beyond what you're aware of. But where we have to go to do that is beyond your comfort zone. It's actually your most natural way of being before you're human, but you're not aware of it now. The reason I do mindset coaching is because human beings are addicted to their thinking. Your whole identity is wrapped around your thoughts. Believe it or not, your whole identity. Whenever you get upset about anything, it's because something your mind is resisting, which is synonymous with ego. There is resistance to what's going on or what somebody said. And when there is resistance, it is your ego believing that things are not going the way you want them to go to get what you want. It's as simple as that. So when we're wanting to connect to a loved one, and so also don't think that just because you get present, all of a sudden you're going to talk to a loved one. It doesn't work that way either. Yeah, it sounds like that's what we're saying, but it doesn't. Susie's point is really good. You first have to learn to differentiate between your thinking and presence. And she's right. Sometimes you just need to experience presence so it becomes more familiar. Sometimes the message then later from a loved one, it pops up. Or the more you're present and you don't sense that you're connecting, a lot of times what happens is the more time you spend in that stillness and presence, then you start to recognize the messages. So I guess what I'm saying is be open. As Susie said, be open, do your part, and then allow, because it's going to surprise you. Your connections are going to come in ways you don't expect. Okay. Now I know we have a lot of things here, messages. I do see all of your messages, but I'm going to bounce around for a minute because this goes along with what we're saying. And I want it to follow up with what Susie has said as well. So I'll let Susie recap, but I want to just go through these. I see your message about your dad and your mom. And I want to answer this real quick. I want to respond to this because this has to do what Susie and I were just talking about in very practical ways. So like Robin says, so when I'm driving in the car and I talk to my mom, she's really there. The answer is yes.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, in so many of my readings, souls come through and they'll say to me, let them know. I know when they're driving because I'm riding right with them in the passenger seat. If they're driving alone, so many souls will ride with you in the passenger seat. Why is this? I'll tell you why. Because you're focusing on driving. You're not like, oh my God, I got to run to the car. I got to take the trash out. I got to work on this paper. You're driving and you're kind of trapped there. And your brain has to work on the foot on the pedal, the hand on the wheels. So your egoic mind, your brain, two different things, is being distracted because it has to engage in focusing to drive. This allows the souls, even if you don't know they're sitting there next to you, to come through to you. So let's say you're driving and you all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I need to brake early, even though the light's not yellow yet. And then the light turns yellow, you've braked already, and a car slides through the intersection and it saves you from an accident. Who's had something like that happen? Okay. Sometimes you might not know, okay, my loved one's there, but they can get through to you more easily when you're doing other things like folding laundry, taking a walk, all that kind of thing. And Amy, one of the things you're doing when you're singing, dancing, all that type of thing, guys, is you're raising your vibrational frequency. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the time your loved one's going to come through. It just means you're practicing raising that frequency. Now, I wanted to say something. I know we got a bunch of comments here, guys. We will get to all of your comments. It's just while Susie was talking before, there were a couple of things I saw I wanted to quick acknowledge, and then Susie and I will go back and get more thorough about them, okay? Hold on. There was one more thing I wanted to see here. I think it's down here. And then we'll get to your question, Amy. We can also talk about this a lot tomorrow. Hold on here. Why? Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Well, I'll do this one, then I'll turn over to Susie. sometimes I feel tingles. So I want to quick just mention that too. So I want to just quick mention, if you guys are starting this type of thing, I love that this group is really into sensing this for themselves, because that's what we want. If you feel an overwhelming emotion, if you feel chills, if you feel extra warmth or a feeling of static electricity, if you feel tingles, if you feel yourself start to laugh, if you feel yourself sense something that reminds you of them, or maybe you smell them, or you feel them, or you think, you start to look around like you feel a presence. Those are all, but not all of the ways in which souls work really hard to let you know they're there. And let me remind you how hard they're working. They have to really slow their frequency down for you to have the physical connection. And so while it's easy for them to connect with you, you're the one that's going to have a hard time. You have to relearn how to connect with them in their new form. They have to relearn too, but not the same way, because once they're back in spirit, they remember. Okay. What are your thoughts on that, Susie? And then we got a lot of comments I want to get through here too, and questions.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of what we've talked about here is responded quite nicely for what Anne's been commenting on and saying. Yes. One of the things that keeps coming around for me for Anne, though, is a lot of your comments here are, and I say this with love and respect, they sit in the negative energy. Okay, so you're saying, I miss them a lot. Where else have we got? Just trying to see I wish I can connect with them. So these two are expressing your desires for what you want to have happen, but they're expressing it in a way that is also being obstructive. It's putting up its own barriers. You know, it's about you're saying, I wish I can connect with them. So by default, what you're saying is you can't connect with them, when in effect you are connecting with them. You know, in your own way, that connection is there, but you're putting up your own barrier to that connection actually happening for you in a way that you can sense it. Our loved ones in spirit never leave us. They are always with us. We just have moments where we feel them perhaps more, not intensely, but we just feel them. And there are moments when we don't, but that's because where we are in our own vibrational state is changing that vibrational connection between us. So my answers to you are feeling them, you are sensing them, you know they're there, you're just putting up your own barriers at the moment to them. So it's like taking these phrases that you've said, I wish I can connect with them. There was another one.
You can.
Yeah. Every day I miss them a lot. So if you can so these are little tools that I'm giving you here to help you to strengthen your connection. So when you look at these phrases, write them down. This is if you choose to, but write them down and then rephrase them into a positive format. So instead of every day I miss them a lot, it's every day I know you're there. Every day I'm connecting with you. And whilst at the moment you may not feel that, that is a truth. And that truth is a positive energy. And I can already sense them going, yay, clapping. You know, I've got this sudden burst of clapping around me. So I know that this is the right thing for you to be doing. So where you're saying, I wish I can connect with them, instead of saying, I wish I can connect, say, I connect with you every day. I'm connecting with you now. And just use those phrases to bring that energy through for you.
Yes.
If you were here at the beginning when we were first talking, I talked about breath work. Breath work for me now, I believe, it's vitally important. I've always believed it. I just know it to be true now. So listen, if you want to, go back to the beginning where I talked about the breath work and start that breath work exercise. Sit with that exercise and do that. really, for me, I feel the important process for you to be embracing at the moment is changing the way you process your thoughts, change your mindset, bring those thoughts from the negative vibrational energy into a positive, and then start little practices. So little mini meditations, 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, 5 and 10 minutes in the evening. Get it and bring yourself into a practice. How you do those, entirely up to you. It might be a walk in nature, it might be yoga, it might be breath work. Just find what resonates for you and start working with those, and then you will find that sometimes you feel the tingles will become more present and more regularly, because I can sense them. I know they're around you, they are with you, and their vibration is there ready and waiting. It's your vibration that needs to make the shift now and really start bringing your energy back into that way that you can then connect.
Yes. I 100% agree. I there's something for Allison, Ann, and Amy I'll want to respond to. Let's see. I want to first, I love Susie. She's so spot on. And guys, understand when we're feeling these, I mean, I can feel and sense your angels and spirit guides cheering and clapping as well. When we're sharing things with you that they've been trying to help guide you in order to connect with them and get what you need, they are so joyful. So that really, that really is happening. I wanted to share, oh, okay, I'll let you take that because I was going a different direction, Susie.
Okay, no, you carry on then. Carry on. You go.
No, she brought her thing up, so go ahead, and I'll just start over when you're done.
Yeah, it's just with Alison's comment. She mentioned about meeting a spirit guide with John Edward, and it was a monk, and while she wasn't while she wasn't religious, she had the monk come in, and then what was her other one?
Well, I wanted to bring that one up first.
But all right, so we'll go to that one first.
I wasn't going to start with hers though. I had an order. So let me just I'll just follow up with what you do now because I'm not on track now.
So for me, when we meet our spirit guides and they come from a context, if you like, of religion, I look at, in that moment, I look at what's going on in my life, and I look at where the reflection is that's coming up for me around that. And I remember many, many years ago, I received, or I was told, I didn't actually see or sense it myself, I was told that I had a monk as a spirit guide. And a bit like yourself, I was surprised because I wasn't a churchgoer. But then I came to realize that spirit guides come to us at times when there's something within that energy vibration that they want us to connect with or understand about ourselves. So for me, even though we may be non-religious and then we get a connection to somebody who comes from a religious background, if you like, it's looking at what is it that's going on in our life, what is the awareness that we need to have around that particular ethos, if you like. So I would say it doesn't matter whether you're religious or not. There is no context, if you like, within the spirit guides that we meet and who come to us. For me, it's more they come as teachers. They have a teaching to bring, and it's what's going on in your life in that moment, and then using that as a form of reflection to look at what is it, and for me, I feel, as I'm recalling when I was told about my spirit guide who was a monk, I was very much in that place of, I had a real thing about the Roman Catholic Church for a variety of personal reasons to do with myself and a friendship that I had and the power and control around it. So I was very, very anti the church at that particular time. then when this monk came through for me, it gave me a cause to think, okay, right, why? What is this about? And I started to then do a little bit of reading. I started to do some meditation. I even looked at Buddhism at the time. So that's where it took me. So I just allowed like the breadcrumbs of this spirit that this spirit guide gave me to follow, to see where it led. And it helped me then to develop a realization about how to respect individuals and individual practices, beliefs, and what they believed in, and to honor and respect what I believed in, but to be able to do so without then, if you like, judging others, without then going, well, I'm really anti. So now I have no antipathy against any form of religion, whereas many years ago I did. And now I just have an understanding that we each have a different way of perceiving life. Each have a different way of processing what we take into our lives. And for those that do follow church and go to church and have that, it's a platform from which they receive their own form of peace, tranquility, whatever it brings to them, and I respect that. So for me, I'm never surprised by a spirit guide that comes in now. I just look and think, okay, what are you showing me? What is it I am reflecting on now within the energy of, what they're bringing? The one caveat I would like to put on this is, and I say this with love and respect, there is a lot out there in the media world that says we all have a Native American guide, we all have a Chinese guide, we all have this guide, and on it goes. I personally would say, if somebody comes to you and says to you, you have this guide with you, go inward, feel into the energy of what that's bringing up for you, and does it feel right? Because I've been told a couple of times I've had guides and I've like, nah. And I have really gone no. And I've known that that's not, and as I've learned over the years and been able to then connect with guides, that those guides that I was told I had weren't actually ever there. So again, it's about balance. It's about almost myth busting, but it's about being able to have your own awareness and trust in what you know feels right for you. So that's that one.
So as we take this forward, and I don't know, Allison, I don't think you're signed up for the Meet Your Spirit Guides event on the 20th. I only have a couple spots left if you want to, but the whole point of that is to teach the people that will be attending, to give you a way to connect on your own. And everyone is going to be going through a process to do that, and allowing their spirit guides to introduce themselves, and then assisting you with that, and then going through the introduction and making sure each of you have met at least one spirit guide, so that if you're blocked or they're not coming through, I'm either going to validate it for you or make that introduction for you if you're not able to make it. The thing that you guys keep hearing me go back to mindset stuff and the mind, and it is because you are this eternal soul that's consciousness. The consciousness is that eternal you while you are human. Okay. But remember, all of these things that we are responding to in your comments are from your mind. So, for example, and Allison, and they're great questions. But what I want you guys to start being able to do is recognizing when you have or ask a question or you have a doubt or something, anything that is mental or emotional. Now, I don't mean emotional like, okay, you feel a loved one come in, but I mean, let's say you get frustrated with something. Okay. It's a sign, it's telling you something, right? But anything that is something you're thinking is just a thought. Again, what you guys are interested in embarking upon when you want to do mediumship or connect with spirit, you cannot possibly imagine where they're coming from. It is from outside of your familiarity and your comfort zone. So when you know, when something surprises you, as Susie said, go inward for the answer, right? I have clients all the time that will argue with me during a reading. And what I have to do is keep refining and translating in a different way for them what spirit is saying, because I trust spirit. So when I ask a question in a reading, for example, or if Susie and I ask a question during a reading, it's because we want to, it's not because we're doubting spirit and what we're getting, we're fishing for answers. It's because two things. One, validation. You have to know what we're talking about. We don't have to know what we're talking about because we don't know about you till it's coming through for spirit, right? And we know about you as we're doing a reading. The other thing is we got to make sure it's matching up. It's not somebody else piggybacking or whatever, right? So the clarity comes as the reading is happening. You can do the same thing for yourself. There might just be something that, maybe the mind interprets, guys. The mind interprets. So, and then the other thing I want to throw out there is religion is not spirituality. Religion is not spirituality. It can be. You can use religion as your vehicle or your human way to be spiritual. But let me be very clear. And if you never listen to this again because I've said this, that's fine. But this needs to be clarified. Religion is not spirituality. Religion satisfies the human ego's desire to understand and remember where we come from, to connect with source and who and what we were before we were born, to understand before life and life after death, to deal with our fears about death and loss. Religion is the mental egoic form of trying to understand that. But here's the kicker, my friends. You will never be able to understand consciousness or spirituality as a human being that you can reproduce it intellectually in a conversation. It is a personal inward journey. You can come to know and understand. But when you come to know and understand it, you can't teach others about it. You can just guide them to understand it. There's a lot more meanings, Allison, actually, to the long brown robe. Countless beings and sects of souls that have different work throughout the brotherhoods of light in the universe, in heaven, throughout heaven, wear cloaks and robes. They almost all wear cloaks and robes. So our interpretation even of it being you understand that the monks intuitively, spiritually represent a lot of what we wear in the spirit world, cloaks and robes. So when you see or you hear or you're told you have a spirit guide that's a monk, it would not be uncommon for a spirit guide to show up in a cloak or robe. Many times when spirit guides come to me for people, they come through in cloaks and robes. It doesn't mean they're a religious monk. Okay, so just right now make that distinction. Religion is not spirituality. And your conscious journey and who and what is guiding you is your own. Okay, so we really have to get, this is what mindfulness is about, is getting free because of the mind, because nothing has meaning until we assign it meaning. Nothing. Okay. Now there is this, I want to quick say this. There's something you said, Amy, I want to get to, but let's see. This is very significant. And I think this is where you were starting with before, Susie, and then we went back to the one she did first.
Yeah.
This is coming up now. So I keep thinking that maybe the ones I've lost have trouble getting through to me. It helped because my brain is never empty, as I have epilepsy and manic depression. So my mind can't be at peace, and that's the problem. Now, please take this with a grain of salt. I love you. I am not putting you down. I'm not belittling your physical issue, but I'm going to reverse everything you just said. Because, again, what your phrase here shows us what and how you're thinking. and what and how you're believing, because belief is just repeated thoughts. And if you believe that they cannot get through because of the physical and mental issues that you have, I'm going to tell you that is not correct. As a matter of fact, it would be the opposite. That phrase, and again, I'm not insulting you. If you want a solution, I'm offering you a doorway to this solution. And it starts with you completely flipping your perspective. This is what spirit can do, is flip your perspective. If anything, the epilepsy and manic depression is a cause of the fact that your mind is never quiet. This is why we have a pandemic of depression and anxiety. Because with social media and television and the fast pace, it damages our nervous system. These things cause depression. They cause mental and emotional illness. They cause physical illness. And it may start out as psychosomatic, but it ends up really being a thing. So the reason that my clients read The Power of Now and Eckhart Tolle, the reason we're talking about getting present, is because honestly, the solution to all of that is being present, but it is not an overnight immediate gratification thing. It is something that takes years, because your programming that has led to these issues has been years of programming. And it doesn't mean it's your fault, but it is your responsibility to get out of it. And your angels and spirit guides can help you. But please understand that your perception of the spirit world is your egoic human perception. It's not the way that it really is. So in order to have a quiet mind and return to peace, you have to do a lot of the hard work, which is awareness of your thoughts, learning and discovering how your thoughts are not reality. So for example, I might feel uncomfortable and embarrassed right now being online with all of you. I'm not. I might feel insecure or uncomfortable or afraid to do a reading if one of you asked me a reading on here, which I'm not. But let's say that I was. Does that make it real? Only for me. See, I can have those fears and those thoughts. Your feelings are an extension of your thoughts. Your feelings are the mind and the body. So you can feel all these things. And then what we do is we make up a belief about it. We make it up. Doesn't make it real. But if you act on it, right? So someone can say to me, Larkin, I'm really angry at you. And I say, why? Well, you're mean to me. Well, why? Because you told me that I should wear a different sweater. Okay. But here's the thing. Should that person wear a different sweater? I don't know. It's just my opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. Opinions don't really have any value. But if that person takes my opinion to heart and says, if I say you might want to wear a different sweater for this occasion, and that person gives the meaning that because they feel fat or ugly or out of shape, this sweater doesn't look good on me. You're telling me I look terrible and so you're mean to me just because I said you might want to wear a different sweater to this event. You see, we all do this every day. So where you have to start, Allison, and your spirit guides and angels can help you with this, but you have to listen. You have to start by being aware of what you're thinking and the meaning that you're giving it. And no matter how many angels and spirit guides you have to do your part as a human being. And that's the part that most people don't do. So when you hear me say a reading is more than just someone telling you something, what you do with it after the reading is what counts. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. For no other reason, for you to get off of here and have a breakthrough and be like, oh, you actually have to take radical responsibility for everything you don't like in your life, for everything you're not happy with. It doesn't mean it's your fault. It means it's your job to change it because you have free will. And we're here to try to support you guys in doing that. Okay. Susie, I'm going to turn over to you because I've rattled on so long, even though I've got other comments I want to get to.
No, it's fine.
follow
It's always perfect as it is.
It is.
So no, that's lovely. And I knew you'd be able to give the answer to this one beautifully as well, which you did. What's coming up around this for me, for Alison, is, yeah, totally everything you've said. Let's change this, rephrase it, get back to taking the responsibility for the words that we're using, and really just use different words. But also I was thinking along the lines of finding some little tools to help with this. And we are big supporters of, there's another word I want to use, but I can't even pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. We're big supporters of meditation and breath work. And I do feel, Alison, that you starting to use some breath work would help you with this, would help you find what you perceive to not be having is that peace of mind because of what the epilepsy and the depression. When in fact, I know that if you were to sit and just focus on your breathing, your mind would be peaceful. It would go quiet, because while we're focusing on breath, we can't be thinking of anything else. So that would be something that I would recommend that you perhaps start with, is look at rephrasing what you've put here, a bit like we suggested earlier with Anne as well. Start changing the process. Another process that I feel is coming in and around for you as well is using what is phrased as the attitude of gratitude. When we work with gratitude in our life, when we become grateful for everything that we have, whether we perceive it as something good or bad, there is no good or bad, there is just energy. And this is my belief. So whatever is happening, it is an energy vibration to which we respond and react and make a choice. So again, using gratitude to be grateful for everything that we've got and everything we have. And it may sound strange and it may sound completely off the wall to you here, but what I'm going to say is have gratitude for the epilepsy and the depression, because these are showing you something in your life at the moment. And rather than being, I would suggest that you are maybe resentful, angry, upset with these things in your life, be grateful for them. It's completely off the wall, but it works. Gratitude for what you have, be it this good or bad, which is neither, because it's vibrational energy. Having gratitude shifts that vibration, shifts that energy.
Hi, Melody.
One of the phrases that I love to work with, and I know it works because it's worked for me, is saying, I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And you don't have to say them in that form. You can say it the other way round. It's a Ho'oponopono technique. And for me, I think it's one of the most beautiful things we can give ourselves is gratitude. And even if you just say, I love you, and repeatedly love you, because ultimately what we are, and Larkin said this, we are responsible. We are the ones that have to take responsibility for everything within our lives. And if you look at an external circumstance, so let's say, for example, my eldest son has a debilitating bowel disease. And for a lot of years, he's gone through that for a lot of years. He's had major surgeries with it. He's always managed to keep working. He's always managed to keep going. And he's done so well with it. But it took me a moment to realize that I'm actually responsible for that, because the one common denominator within that is me. I'm his mother. I raised him. I brought him up. I didn't give him it, but for whatever reason within the universal vibrational energy, this is where it became. And in that aha moment of, oh, wow, I'm responsible. I'm a common denominator in what's going on for him. I started to use, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And in that process, over the years, our dynamic as mother and child, he's grown up now, but mother and child, has changed. So I do feel there is a power in that. So it's understanding how much power as a unique spiritual individual you actually have to change the processes of your life and the way your life is. And to do that, you start with taking responsibility for every action that you take and make, and every choice as well. You know, Larkin mentioned there about saying to somebody about the colour of their sweater and wearing something different. You know, that person then reacted to that. Larkin chose to say, okay. Now, within that okay comment, I don't know if anybody else felt it, but I felt the vibrational energy of love. That okay came out with love. She could have gone, well, actually, I told you to wear that sweater because da 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 da, and got into a whole drama and a dynamic, but she chose not to. And these are the choices that we can make. We can choose to just step back and look at what's being presented to us and say, thank you, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
As Dr. Hugh Len says in Ho'oponopono, you go back to zero and non-reaction. So I feel for you that these are the processes that you can use to help you start to really begin to feel and make the connections that are already there. You just need to remove the obstacles to them.
Obstacles are opportunities, and that's why I posted this from Amy. You know, you grow through what you grow through what you go through, and it's very true. It's up to us. Lessons are repeated until learned. So everything that you're experiencing, your soul, because you have free will, gave permission for. And so when we remember, again, you know, I do this in the live, so you can perhaps do it when you get off of the lives in your everyday life. Keep reminding yourself there's a bigger picture. There are realities beyond this one with your current human egoic identity. There is a greater reality that you belong to before you were born into this identity and world and life, and there will be more for eternity when you leave it. So there is never an ending. Everything is an ongoing process. It takes so much pressure off when we remember this, that everything is always changing and shifting. And my friends, it is always happening to your benefit. It may not seem like it to your ego, because when things don't go the way we see and can predict and we want, it seems like it's not working out for us, but everything is working out for us. I want to respond to something from Amy. And I hope this helped you, Allison. I want to make sure I've already sent a welcome message, but welcome Linda and Skylight. Welcome back, Skylight.
Yeah, welcome back. Thank you.
Welcome. I think this was let's see, this is really neat. Amy said this was a message was written on the side of a truck. And I think this is another way too, guys, to remember, you know, you have a whole spirit team, you have a whole set of support, a whole support system. And Amy said our loved ones might also be sending us signs all the time. They are.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt. When I read that, I had to laugh and smile, because some mornings when I drive to work and I've like just put something out there to the universe and then forgotten I've put it out there, so to speak. I'll drive down the road and there will be a big 18-wheeler truck come past me with with A on it. And I'm like, oh, the archangels are around. Thank you very much.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just perfect, that share.
That is perfect. Our loved ones are sending us signs all the time through songs and numbers and signs. Even an 18-wheeler trucks driving past might have some sort of message. So it might be, you know, again, guys, this is about, are you attuned to it or not? You have a reticular activating system that makes sure you don't register everything you sense, because if you did, your head would explode. This is a scientific fact. So we have to understand that we're going to be seeing the world and perceiving according to what we're thinking, how much we're thinking, what we're believing, what our attitude is, what our frequency is. So if you want your external reality to shift, that means you want to start seeing or picking up messages or signs, then you got to get out of your head, or you got to shift your frequency, or you got to shift your belief. And I love what Susie said before, because this is actually an ancient truth to go through life, like the example she was giving for Allison. Instead of saying, oh, I have this happening all the time, or I miss my loved ones all the time. Or maybe this was for Anne. It doesn't matter. The point is take what it is you're wanting or you're missing or that's causing you discomfort and turn it into the gratitude phrase, right? I know you're there. Thank you for being there. I miss you so much, but even though I can't sense you right now, I know you're there and I feel your love. Things like that. This opens you up to receiving. Okay. Let's see. I want to scroll down to, I see that you have a question I want to reading, Linda. Hold on a second. I know I'm going to have to get off in about 10 minutes, but I want to see. Let me read this here. Let's see. And Skylight, welcome back. I hope you're having a good New Year as well. I'm going to pop you up.
While you're scrolling, I've just popped in a website link. oxygenadvantage.com for anybody who's interested in the science behind the breath work that we were talking about earlier. This is a brilliant little website, and I found it by accident and I absolutely love it. So yeah, if you're interested, just have a read through, and you'll find the vagal breathing in there as well.
Fantastic. And I'm going to pop the Meet Your Spirit Guides link. I couldn't pop it in YouTube because I wasn't logged in as us. So I thought I was spam. All right. Here we go. Hello there. How are you? We're well, Skylight. Thank you. How are you? I'm a male. Is Juan's watching from Panama City? Yay!
Yay!
If possible, may I have a message, please? Thank you. Are you wanting I think Susie's going to start with the cards for you.
Yeah.
And let's see. The exciting thing, guys, is even though the new year is it's a human calendar for us, it's also energy. It's also energetic. And remember that we've created this year based on our rotation around the sun. So there are a lot of magnetic and astrological and energetic shifts that actually do happen. Susie's going to pull a card for you, or cards for you, Skylight, and we'll get to you too as well, Linda.
Yeah. So Skylight.
Wait, can I say something first? Okay. Sorry. I think maybe it might be cutting off on your end, but I just wanted to say that I sense some the feeling of refreshed this year, that there are going to be some opportunities and breakthroughs for you this year. And this is the year of the dragon. So I think that's really cool because it holds a lot of very significant energy. But I also feel as though there's a lot of, there's some hidden treasures within yourself, things that you've sort of had in the back of your mind and in your heart for a long time that you don't really even necessarily share with anyone, that you keep really private and close to your heart, that you're going to see some opportunities to connect and actually bring into fruition for yourself this year. That what's being shared with me, though, is you want to make sure not to miss it. The year is going to go quickly. You're already being given opportunities. Okay. And so these things are things that it's fine that you've kept them very sacred and close to your heart and private, some of which just because you didn't feel confident in them that they were possible. What Spirit is telling me is they are possible. They are so possible. And this year is going to show that to you, but the opportunities are going to come in ways you didn't necessarily expect. So journal, trust yourself and intuition. Stay very in, don't try too hard, but trust that your team and the universe is really working to bring this out. And that the fact that you've kept it private and close to your heart has actually been a good thing. But you're going to be able to liberate that this year and get started on these things. And that these dreams that you have kept private for yourself, you're going to discover this year, you're going to go, oh my God, maybe they actually are possible and they weren't just fantasies and dreams. Maybe I was actually here to manifest this and walk in these truths. And I just want to tell you, Spirit is excited right now as I'm saying this. They're cheering you on and they really believe in this. So you have this possibility, this opportunity, and I see this happening for you this year, but just the start of it. This will just be the beginning. Susie, thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. And I do feel that flows really well with the cards that came out before you started.
Of course it does. Of course.
So the first card, I mean, this one is a bit reflective. You can't with the light and everything, but the first card that came out is divine guidance. You then have the Tower card from the Major Arcana. And these lovely cards are with Pooh Bear. I've got 2 new tarot sets and they're Pooh Bear and Alice in Wonderland. And you have Judgment. And for me, what they're talking about here is that you are receiving a lot of divine guidance and intuitive ideas and thoughts and processes. And again, as Larkin was saying, you've been keeping them sort of under your belt, so to speak. But with the Tower card coming in, it feels very much now like it's time to let go of some of these, what you've considered to be stable and secure and holding you firm. You've got to let go. Because it's time now to really step into what this divine guidance is bringing you. It's really time to release some of the, I want to say, old habits, old ideas, old paradigms that perhaps you've been lingering with, but not necessarily holding a truth with, but for some reason, and this feels a little bit cultural. So it may be something within the cultural beliefs that you've grown up with that you need to be able to transcend those now is the word that's coming in. Your Judgment card is very much about reflection and really looking now inward is what I want to say, coming into what it is that you're receiving and really just being true to yourself is what I want to say. It's like you've held your own truths, but they've been almost, as Larkin was touching on, secretive. And there's this need to now just trust and believe in yourself is what I'm feeling. And there are going to be moments of almost like aha moments. So these sudden insights are going to come in. And rather than just going, oh, right, yeah, okay, thanks, and not poo-pooing it, but sort of just brushing them aside, I really feel that now is the time to just bring them in and just start to look more deeply at what these insights are showing you. I often call it the breadcrumb trail. You get a little insight and then you follow that and a door opens and you look through that. And a bit like Alice in Wonderland, you peek through one door and you need to be bigger. You peek through the next door and you need to be smaller. So it's about flexibility as well. I feel there's this need for you to just flow, go with the flow, but also be flexible about what's coming in with this divine guidance. And thank you so much, Skylight. And I think we might have time for maybe one more.
Let's do Linda.
Hi, Tia. Did I see Tia pop in there?
Tia. Yeah, I've been trying to send her a welcome message and it wouldn't send.
Oh, okay.
Welcome, Tia. I'm
going to
Linda up here. There it is. It's after I said all my hellos. There we go. Welcome, Linda.
So Linda.
Okay. 1 second here. So welcome, Linda. Is this your first time meeting with us? Not sure that I've seen you on here before.
I don't recognize the name.
Welcome. Let's see. Skylight says your messages resonate and make sense so much. You're very welcome, Skylight. Thank you for joining us. Linda, I see a lot of, I see a lot of, this isn't a negative thing, but I see a lot of clouds around you this year that are going to be clearing. So whether that, what I'm seeing are images of a lot of, clouds, like dark clouds at different levels sort of surrounding you. And, I'm asking spirit, what does that mean? And that can mean, several different things. But what I'm getting back is, first of all, as those clouds clear this year, I'm referencing this year just because it's January, and it's very helpful for people to get a sense of moving forward and the changes that'll be coming this year. But I get a sense of, as those clouds clear this year, and it will be some just naturally because it's time for that to happen, but a lot of it's going to come through the choices that you have been and are going to be making, that will give you clarity, will give you some vision, will give you some ability to see things that you've been maybe unclear about or indecisive about or confused about, or trying to get clarity so you feel you can move forward. And I see that is going to be a real blessing for you this year. A lot of those clouds clearing is also going to be a shift in the elements and the people around you. A lot of people that are bringing more negative energy, that do not have clarity, that are sort of weighing you down and holding you back, that is going to be shifting and clearing, just like clouds do as well. And so I also see a bright and very healthy set of shifts and movements for you this year moving forward. And I can come back to that more, but we'll see. I'm sure Susie's cards, it's coming from the same source, guys. Spirit is
absolutely, yeah.
So it's always going to match up.
As soon as you said about the clouds, the card that came out was death.
No way.
And the end of something and change, the impermeability of all things. Your other card was judgment. Again, that's right. And then you have settlement. And I just, with these cards, what I'm feeling around here, yes, there's a lot of change coming in. There's a lot of releasing and letting go of things that have been flowing in and out, but haven't really, it's like when you throw something at the wall and it doesn't stick, it slides down. So it feels like there's been ideas or projects that you've been throwing out there and they've just not taken a hold. But it's about releasing these and letting them go, and really just not settling either. With the settlement card, it feels like you've been settling, not just for things that you've been saying or doing, but for what other people have been leading you to believe, and you've just gone, yeah, okay, I'll settle for that, rather than really going within and trusting. Today's messages and talk conversation has all been really, for me, reflection about what we need to do, and that's to go within, to really learn from our own inner knowing and trusting that. And it just feels like that's where you are at this moment, Linda. It's about it also. There's this feeling as well that there's this sort of external judgment coming in. So almost as if people around you are judging what you want to do or what you feel you want to do. And that judgment has sort of almost made you feel a little bit, I want to hug myself, but not in a comforting way, in a protective way, as if I'm protecting myself from other people's words and beliefs, because they're not making me feel comfortable, and they're not making me feel like I'm in doing what feels right for me. So it's about just not taking on board other people's beliefs and judgments, and just really trusting what it is that you want to do, and really not settling for. I feel within you that, as I look at the settlement card, it's filled with yellow and green. And yellow and green for me is very much about connecting with our solar plexus, connecting with our heart, and connecting with that inner knowledge, that inner power, that inner strength that we've got. And I really feel like I want to boost your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-belief, because it does feel like a lot has come on you from external forces and sources. And this is where the death card is coming in and saying, it's time to let that all go. It's time to end that. It's time for you to really step up and step in to who you are and what you want to do and what you want to be. And really please don't settle for anything less than what you are worth. And you are worth so much.
Yes, and stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
Way of summarizing exactly what Susie said there. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful.
So
hopefully that helps, Linda. I do have to get going. Skylight, you had one more quick question. Is it okay for you to travel to Asia next week? So, I mean, the okay answer, I mean, I would say yes, it's okay. I think that in foresight, I don't see anything unsafe right at the moment. I don't see any physical or safety reason why you shouldn't. I think as long as you are staying in your own lane and you're in the frequency, maintaining the frequency that you are now, and you have, you intuitively have your own reasons and pure intentions for going, then I don't see any reason why not. And that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, my intuitive feel was yes. There was a sense of just making sure all your paperwork was in place, that you dot the I's, cross the T's, that everything flows well with any paperwork, any travel documentation that you need to have or take with you, was what was coming through. And I pulled the Sun card for you as well, as you, Larkin, was speaking, and that's joy, success, celebration, and positivity. So safe travels, happy travels.
Yeah, and I just, oh, sorry. I just want to say, I think Susie and I both are getting the energy of, yes, it's okay to travel. I know I'm reiterating this, but I think this is important. It's okay and it's fine and safe, is in just make sure that you're taking responsibility for your focus and your vibration and your energy. And again, I'm also getting, stay in your own lane. So like Susie mentioned, paperwork, like to keep your trip smooth and enjoyable. Just, be prepared, look ahead, don't go out of the way that would cause you any surprises. And you should be just fine. So, yes, thank you.
So here we are at the end of another wonderful session.
Yes.
It's been amazing. Thank you, everybody who's come in, popped in, said hi, stayed, come and gone, and for everybody who watches the replay.
Oh, yes, the replay.
Yes. You'll enjoy and get something from this. Any questions, just drop us a message or leave a comment.
Yes.
And
I just want to give everybody reminders. We are here at 5 p.m. BST time every Tuesday now, and 12 p.m. EDT time. I want to remind everyone that Susie is making her beautiful little angel tool kits. So you'll want to check on her social media for that. I am doing the Meet Your Spirit guides. You want to check on my social media for that. Everything's listed. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, and help us to grow it.
Yeah, please.
Also, keep your eyes, because we're going to be having events that serve all of you. We're going to be doing our own events each month where we do small group readings and things like that. So just make sure you tune in. You can subscribe to larkinsreadings.com. Don't forget to check out her little toolboxes, toolkits, if you're wanting to learn to work more with the angels. Just reminders, guys, if, obviously I'm not just trying to market to you. I want you to know what's available that we're offering you. And we offer these things for as low a price as we possibly can. Plus we give you all this free time because we want you guys to learn to connect on your own. Connect with your spirit guides, trust yourself, your spirit team, and trust yourself. And we're here to support you and to hold that space so that you can make this a practical part of your life and overcome your challenges and things like that through working with your spirit team.
Thank you, Amy, for your beautiful comments. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And as always, love and blessings and gratitude for you all.
Yes. See you next week.
Bye.